Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Monday. I'm telling you, I love me some Mondays. Without Mondays, Fridays mean nothing. A lot of you may realize that now, being home all the time and not working or whatever, of how the days just kind of blur into each other. Mondays for me on a rotating schedule has always been going back to work after a few days or 2 days off, no matter what day of the week it was. Today's my Monday. And again, as I've said before, it's the weekends that get me. On Friday, I think Saturday morning, Friday, Mr. Scale told me 200 and something. Friday morning or Saturday morning. It was a late anomaly reading. And when I say anomaly, means it was like a late in the afternoon reading, weigh in, where I hadn't eaten, where I was kind of hungry and knew I should eat. And I knew if I even thought about looking at a glass of water, even just thinking about looking at a glass of water, I would put on 2 pounds. So even though that number was like extremely low, it was relative of what I was doing and the trend, and it was in the ballpark. But 200, I'm trying to get down below 200. I'm trying to break that 199. But then here comes the weekend. And in that, let me tell you, 3 shouts out for 3 words. 3 shouts out for 3 words. Instacart. Sure, it took 5 days to get my food. I had to wait because the delivery schedule is just so way behind right now. In fact, Ralph's I usually go to, nothing. They're not even booking. And so I went to Food for Less. They were able to deliver on some kind of flex schedule. They say between now and like a week from now. So I put the order in. And once I got the order in and the delivery time in, I was able to update the list as the week went on. And Food for Less basically is Kroger, I think, and Kroger is basically Ralph. So they're all the same thing. So they all basically had all of my Carb Master stuff, all my proprietary or brand name stuff that I usually get from Ralph. So I was able to get from Food for Less pretty much. The only thing I think I had was one substitution or one thing they didn't have. And that was, I ordered some, what was the red onion biscuit mix? Those biscuits you get from Red Lobster. I ordered some of that just on a fluke. I'm just sitting there. I'm in bed like, what can I add to my list? What the hell? I'm like laying there. Let me add something else. Anyhow, that food came. And as I was laying in the bed just adding stuff to it, I added like 4 cookie mixes. So I had sugar cookies last night. But actually, if you think about it, the food that I ate over the last 2 days, and I still got my 10K steps in, my 10K steps in, which I have every day this year so far. I really didn't eat that bad. I ate some food that the Dane cooked, and it was like stuffed peppers. I think what else? It was stuffed pepper and some kind of quiche something. Oh my God, the quiche stuff. Oh my God. Yeah, quiche stuff. Oh, it was so good. And my order also had potato chips and dip last night, and I ate all them cookies. I ate a bunch of those cookies. I ate those cookies until my stomach was full. And then it was like 8:30, 9 o'clock. I could barely stay up. And I knew I'd have to start working till 12 today. So I knew I should probably stay up a little later. But I couldn't. I had to lay down in bed and say, okay, I'm just going to lay down and watch TV for a couple of hours because it's too early to go to sleep. Shit. After I ate those cookies, I'm laying in bed. I got up and got some more cookies. I was like, fuck it. I don't care. I'm just going to have to be fat. Got on the scale last night. It was 207. It was 207. And that's an anomaly weigh-in. See, that 207 is an anomaly weigh-in, just like the 200 was an anomaly. I mean, there's outliers, And so I woke up today, it was 205, which isn't really that bad, but it breaks the trend. And I'm a trend person. I'm not a trend person. I'm a numbers person. I like having that low number. I like doing what I'm doing and not breaking it. But anyhow, it was good. It was really good. And it's working from home. I've been saying I'm probably liking it too much. I'm probably liking it too much. Social distancing. It's not that I'm not a people person, because y'all see me out there. It's not that. I think it's more that I really, really deeply cherish the time alone. I worship that time because it's the only time where I could be totally 100% unconvoluted, uncompromised Jeffrey. I can think what I want, do what I want, and more importantly, not do what I don't want. And like I said it before on vacations, I was in New Orleans someplace. One of the deepest things for me of traveling alone was being able just to sit on the banks of the Mississippi River on a bench and do nothing but sit there and don't have to explain to nobody why we ain't going or where I'm going. Because, I mean, it is not that you have to explain to other people. It's a common courtesy. You know, if you're traveling with somebody, there's like an implied, contract, traveling contract. Or either you discuss it or not. Like I travel with my road dogs, I lay it down. Look, we ain't got to spend the whole time together. You can go that way, go that way. I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna need my time. Some separate rooms, whatever. But when you travel with a companion, there's still some obligation to as a partnership or as a team even. But for me, just to be walking around down by Cafe du Bou Le Baguette, that famous baguette place or whatever they call it, and just to sit there on a bench, and I sat there for like 45 minutes. I just sat for no reason. I just sat, and it was so good. That's one of the things that I really, really look forward to. That time in Paris when I just slept. I went in a room and I just slept. As soon as I got there, of course, as soon as I got to Paris, I jumped on the train. I jumped on a train in France. Jumped on a train after I got logged into the hotel. In fact, I don't even think I was checked into the hotel. I left my stuff at the hotel and then went and found the train, took the train to the Eiffel Tower. And that was real cool. That was real cool. I got that taken care of. It seemed like as soon as I hit any city, I go do something. I think I did that in Berlin. I think I do that in every city. In fact, we did it in Sydney. I think that's a trend I do now. As soon as we hit, we drop the stuff off and we go do something. Because my travel schedule is always so tight, like a day or two in the city. Anyhow, what the hell was I talking about? Oh, being left alone. I mean, this thing, work from home. I mean, I'm sitting here. I'm already sitting at the place where y'all see me sit thousands of times before, maybe hundreds, with all my toys around me, and my toys are tools. In fact, while I'm sitting here, let me take my blood pressure. Let me take my blood pressure while I'm sitting here. I got my toys around me. I mean, we're connected to work. I'm able to do my job. Technically, the response times and the system is working. Maybe not as good as it was. Maybe not as good as it does if I'm in the office, but it's not terribly, terribly bad. And you talk about no commute. You're talking about getting off work at 6 o'clock and being home already. I'm talking about 2 hours of my life. I get back, even though I was able to be on the train and do stuff, on my laptop. And the exercise involved, the keeping the motion, keeping my body moving, going from the train and, interacting with people. Speaking of which, I don't know now after this social distancing thing, after I got a taste of not being around humans, how I'm going to be able to get back on the bus. The train, maybe. The train I can kind of, weasel around or take my time or find a, empty spot. 118 over 90. That's kind of high. I had sugar yesterday. It says my pulse is 75. So that might be accurate reading. Let's try it again. 118 over 90. At least my systolic number has come down. And I had that diastolic number down too. But anyway, and I don't know if I'm going to get back on the train after this because I never did like the train anyway because I told y'all about people coughing on the train. Nasty bastards. Coughing and not covering their mouth, whatever, on the train. Now after this, I mean on the bus, I don't know. After this, I don't know because the bus is kind of crowded. The train is less. But anyhow, what the hell was I talking about? Oh, yeah. the whole social distancing thing, working from home, and a drastically, that was an error, and a drastically reduced amount of time of human contact. But I will also say this too. The two interactions with human beings I had was at the UPS office, because I had to get a notary, and there was an alarm going off in an apartment next door. It was this alarm was going off for like a week, literally a week, literally a week. I could barely hear it, but it was enough to irritate me. Is this messing up? Okay, get back on track now. Get back on track. It was enough to irritate me, and I was talking to the guy. You know, he lived right upstairs above it, so he said he called the manager and he called this, he called everybody. 127/86, probably because I'm talking. And it says 127/86, and it has my pulse rate at 37. Go figure. But anyway, and so and those two interactions with human beings felt really good. It just felt good, and I keep forgetting, just like when I go out sometimes around you people, how good just being out amongst people makes me feel. I mean, just those two interactions with the guy at UPS. I used to have a post office box up there, and he's still working it. That was like 10, maybe 15 years ago, you know, and he was, not that we had old buddy memories, but, you know, he was cordial, and we talked, and just the interaction was good. The interaction felt good, and talking to the guy next door, the interaction just felt good. Just like when I go out and, you know, I see everybody and I'm out there, and it just feels good. I forget 114/89. It just feels good to be out there. It just feels good to be out, and I forget that every time. Okay, this thing, I'm at 11 minutes now, but what was I talking about? And the social distancing and all that, and working from home, and my eating habits are good. I'm taking this work from home seriously. I get up, I get dressed. I'm not working in my pajamas. I even put shoes on. I do my morning walk before work. Get, you know, at least 4,000 steps in before work. Sit down. I try to take it seriously. You know, I stay on it. 112/90. All right. It's probably all that damn salt I had this weekend. It'll work. And like I said, 205 today. 112/90 is not hideous, but it's definitely definitely up the curve. Whoops, I probably shouldn't say up the curve. Y'all know that means something else. And I probably should, I may have a video about the coronavirus and what the Surgeon General said, and health and Darwinism. I'm a Darwinist. I believe in survival of the fittest. That's all I'm going to say. I'm just going to say this. Black people and their culture, the food culture, eating habits, as a culture, forget race, throw race out of there. Okay, there's no such thing as race. As a culture, even though I believe there's a such thing as race. Because what's the difference between a German Shepherd and a Pit Bull? Is there a difference? Yeah, there's a difference. Okay, it might not be race, but what is that? What is that? Oh, race means you can't breed between the two. Okay, so a German Shepherd and a Pit Bull can breed, but they're still not the same. So what is that? Anyhow. And then all of a sudden you see one race, you know, predisposed to a certain disease or certain characteristics that you find common within that culture or race. I digress. Strong will survive. Sometimes the weak needs to be pruned. I hate to say it. I hate to mean it. I hate to say it. I hate to mean it. But sometimes that it has to be that way, and nature has a way of doing it, whether you want it to or not, where you think it's politically correct to even acknowledge it. Sometimes that's what's happened. The thinning of the herd. I'm just saying, I'm taking my blood pressure now, keeping my blood pressure down, cut out carbs and sugars a few months ago. And another thing, since I'm talking about this, what the Surgeon General said about black people and their habits. Now, I'm not going to touch that. I'm going to let y'all understand that. Y'all figure that one out yourself. But in Michelle Obama's book, which I love, her audio book, I love Michelle Obama's book. I listen to it when I'm walking. It's like one of the only things I listen to consistently when I take that long walk. If I go for like the full 10K, I listen to her. In her book, she even says that, you know, when Malia and them was growing up, her doctor came to her and said, all right, you know, everything's fine, but Malia's BMI is up. And he pointed out to her that her BMI was kind of high, and right now it wasn't a big deal, 135 over 86. He said, and your BMI isn't high, but you want to get on this now. You want to, you want to take care of this now because her body mass index was kind of high for a child her age. And then she went on to say how the doctor told her, this could lead to diabetes, how this could lead to high blood pressure, and all that stuff that the Surgeon General said that was causing the coronavirus to make black people more susceptible to death. And the numbers show out. The numbers play out. I don't care. You call it racial. You can MSNBC this away all you want and politically incorrect or whatever you want. The numbers, you can't MSNBC out the numbers. The numbers are there. Those are numbers. Now you can say, oh, they're not testing right. Oh, black people this. Oh, they're not testing on white people. And it does happen to white people too. There's no doubt. There's no doubt it happens to white people too. And it's no doubt, more than likely, there's a chance that it could be the way that the polls or the statistics or however, or whatever, or however, or whatever. It could be that. It could be that. But the bottom line for me is the black people need to take care of themselves. Whitey ain't gonna do it for us. Whitey ain't gonna do nothing for us. Whitey ain't supposed to do nothing for us because I go back into the Darwinian thing. It's the survival of the fittest. It's like saying, Tom Brady, you're too good. You already got 6 Super Bowls. Let us have one. No, that's not how you do it. You go out and you get your shit together. You get your offensive line together. You fix up your defense. You fix your team to handle. You build your own stadium. Fuck, if you got to, you build your own league. 147 over 91. All right, that's enough. You know what I mean? I don't want to go into this, but that's just the way I look at it. And I'm watching MSNBC yesterday, and this guy, they had one of those kind of inflaming kind of guys on there talking about white supremacy because of those numbers and the Surgeon General list and how he said Big Mama and Mom, Pa, whatever he said. And they try to make a big deal out of that, but they're not addressing the numbers. It could be systemic. The reasons the way black people are, the reasons the eating habits and the culture of black people could be systemic. It could be because of what Whitey did to us through slavery, whatever. But regardless, it's still our responsibility. Regardless, it's still our responsibility, and systemic happens to everybody. Systemic is unfair, but it's unfair, it's unforgiving, and it affects everybody. White people have systemic things too. It's the playing field. You can't change the playing field. And like I said, for black people, when it comes down to it, it's not a bootstrap thing, but it's, we need to take care of ourselves. You can't be asking nobody for nothing. You number one, you can't ask the devil, the person you call devil, to help you. Now, I don't call white people devil. Y'all know I don't. but then again, I don't ask nobody for help. I don't ask for anybody for assistance or expect anything. What I will do is I will go in on their terms and under their guise and using the system, not their system, the system by any means necessary to get or figure out what I need to do. Anyhow, my name is Jeffrey Scott Mitchell, and I went off on that, but I didn't want to touch it, but I did want to touch it. 18 minutes, 45 seconds. I know it's going on too long. Happy Monday, people. Human beings, we doing it, human beings. We are doing it, human beings. We are. I look around and see the stuff that we accomplished. I'm sitting here in my freaking living room with equipment and computers and just everything. And it's like heaven. It's like a paradise. We are living in a paradisial time. I made up that word paradisial. Anyhow, this thing is kind of jumping around. I hope it's not messing up. So I better go. Oops. I got to move this way so I can go like that. Swinging on y'all 2 times. My name is Jeffrey Scott Mitchell.